There is no such thing as products selling themselves. Now, granted, there are a lot of companies that are heavily reliant on marketing. Like, for instance, let's take Apple. Apple has really strong marketing. However, when you're actually thinking about the sales process, not everybody is Apple. Not everybody has a hardware that is globally recognized that has been 40 years in the game. Most of the time, people have products where the general audience needs to be educated on what it is, what it does, and also be able to buy into an actual value proposition. And marketing alone doesn't actually do that. There would need to be some form of a human contact, whether that be via email, whether that be via a phone call, or whether that be a follow-up call in some capacity. That is actually not only selling. A lot of times people think that sales is just going out and closing a deal. There's a lot more that goes beyond that. How do you seal a deal? How do you reduce buyer's remorse? How do you get someone to be a repeated customer or to even refer customers to you, right? So if you're not considering putting sales as a part of your general strategy and just relying on marketing and looking at 100% inbound opportunities, you might be selling yourself short. And we found that out even with this COVID wave, right? As soon as we enter into the new norm and people now are at home and we're doing a lot of things on Zoom, relying on marketing alone and inbound opportunities is not going to be sufficient enough to be able to scale. You're going to need to have individuals who are able to speak on a product, maybe not necessarily fully trained, intense salespeople, but at the end of the day, there's going to need to be some form of a human interaction and some form of a hand holding for the onboarding process. And that is part of sales as well, which people don't often talk about is that sales is not just closing a deal, sales is getting someone a solution to something that they actually want and guiding them through the process. So that's something that I would say as leaders and business owners, when you are thinking about we are, marketing only, we don't need sales, we have a really high conversion rate just by doing our marketing or just by doing Google ads or whatever. Um, think about what your actual price point is and think about what your churn rate is as well. And if you were to have somebody who had relationships, even light relationships via email with these clients of yours, maybe the churn rate would have gone down. So I would definitely say people need to invest more in their sales organizations. Definitely invest in marketing because that's important as well. But also having a solid understanding of how your product sells is something that you can always use regardless of what's going on in the market.